Hey y'all, Curve21, back at you again with a Pokemon Go PvP video. In this video, we're taking on PogoKieng's challenge at the very beginning of the Go Battle League season to go in with 75 unique Pokemon and play 25 battles, your first 5 sets of the day, and see how you do. Just keep a record. In the first game, we lead off Clefable into Galvantula, and when you have two Pokemon that have most of their damage coming from fast moves, you want to see who's hitting harder. And if you're hitting harder, just shield their charge moves and charm them down. He switches into a Registeel, which is very good against Fairy, but we have the perfect counter swap in Hitmonchan. He's got Thunder Punch in case we run into any Azumarill, which we might see in this video. We're going to counter it down because I did not think he could get back to the Flash Cannon with the increase in energy cost at the beginning of this season. So now we have a Power Up Punch into the Azumarill. Should have thrown the Thunder Punch there, but I thought the Galvantula might come back into the battle. Resisting both moves, Power Up Punch is a little bit better. So then we're going to bring in our Skuntank with the Poison Jab fast move, which is super effective against the Azumarill. We don't have the Sludge Bomb, which would be a little bit stronger charge move against Azumarill, but it doesn't matter because we're able to knock out his Galvantula before any Volt Switch damage comes in with a Crunch, and now we're threatening shields with a resisted move. You never want to be using your shields on resisted moves, and at this point we can just charm down. No way we're going to get to 2 charge moves in order to get through the shield. So this is a pro strategy. Just use your fast move if you need to get the win when they have shields. So that opponent was a little too conservative with their shields. We're moving into the second game with a fairly similar lineup. 2 Pokemon that deal most of their damage with fast moves. In Alolan Graveler with Volt Switch, just like their Galvantula had, and Gloom that has Razor Leaf, one of the hardest hitting moves in the game. We're just going to swap out our Buddy to make sure our Medicham has a little bit of a Buddy boost. Being at level 40, it goes up to level 41 and still stays under the 1500 cap for Great League. We're going to be looking for an opponent for a little bit of time, but in this plan, we're going in with a safe swap Medicham because it's pretty open to play against most Pokemon. In this situation, it's not a horrible lead for either trainer, but he makes a smart switch into Toxicroak and gets a lot of counters in to our Rock type. I didn't really know who to switch in. They both resist the counter, but I thought might as well use Gloom because he has a Hypno. Hypno being lined up with Gloom would be horrible for us. So that's another pro strategy. Bring in a Pokemon that's weak to their lead if they already swapped it out. Here we're going to throw a Sludge Bomb, and we miraculously get a shield off our opponent. He did not need to do that. So now we're even on shields, and we can bring back in the Alolan Graveler and toss 2 Rock Blasts back to back. Yet another pro strategy. Get those 2 charge moves off, and it limits your opponent's chance to have a fast move come in. He makes an intelligent switch into his Meganium to catch our Rock Blast, basically wasting our energy. At this point, we're going to be going straight for the Ice Punch, and we probably should have shielded that Frenzy Plant. It hurt. That Community Day move is strong. Here we're going to be going for the Ice Punch because we don't have Dynamic Punch, and we still have Psychic from a Self Arena tournament a couple months back. At this point, I'm contemplating shielding to get to that second Ice Punch, and we're just barely away, and he launches his Thunder Punch. At this point, I'm just begging to get to the Rock Blast, and it's not enough. He's going to be able to Confusion us down, similar to our Charm down in that first game. These fast moves can hit super hard, and if you have a good enough team, they will hurt. Going into this third game, we're tied, 1 win, 1 loss, and we have a similar strategy again. Wormadam Trash has Confusion, which is a super powerful fast move, and Shelgon has Dragon Breath, which deals a lot of damage but generates energy slowly. We have a horrible lead into Registeel. I checked my back Pokemon. There's no good answer outside of a Flamethrower off of Shelgon, but I feel like he's going to shield that. So we're just going to, take our medicine and Confusion as much damage as possible, building up to 2 Iron Heads to throw back-to-back charge moves, trying to limit his capability of getting extra energy from Lock-On. He is lucky enough to get a Focus Blast to land, which means he's going to be able to lock us down. And we just launch our energy into this Registeel, trying to deal as much damage as possible before we sadly faint. At this point, we're going to try to Dragon Breath down the Registeel to have tons of energy going into his second Pokemon. We are going to use the one shield to not have a ton of damage on our Shieldon, and we're not going to commit 2 because that would just be overkill. Being down 2 shields and switch advantage would be an impossible feat to come back from. After our Twister gets shielded, we try to switch into Tentacruel to get him to immediately switch to what I assume is his Azumarill. This looks very much like a BBML team from Season 1 and 2, Azumarill, Altaria, and Registeel. We do get the Acid Spray off, and hopefully our Poison Jabs will be able to do enough damage, but he gets off the Sky Attack and is able to Dragon Breath our dragon out of the game. We had no answer to Registeel, and that was just the end of that round. Here we're going to be running a very safe switch and Defense Deoxys, probably the safest swap in the game, but we have a fairly close matchup in the lead. I assume he also is running Acid Spray on his Tentacruel. So we're not going to shield. It is the Acid Spray, very good. Most people don't shield from Glalie, and these Shadow Balls hit an amazing amount of damage. When you don't shield that unresisted move, it's going to hurt. Then we're going to launch an Avalanche because at this range it would KO, and we would not only win the switch advantage but also the shield advantage. He makes a very intelligent switch and counters us down, so we don't let that clock burn up. We immediately bring in our Defense Deoxys and threaten Psycho Boost. We don't have it, but he doesn't know. It'd be an OHKO if he took it. Very risky play by our opponent not shielding his Toxicroak. We get the Rock Slide off. No reason to shield here. Keep our shield advantage. We also have switch advantage, but we give it up. We give it up to get a little bit of extra energy on our Blaziken. At this point, he brings in a Bastiodon, and he disconnects. We're able to counter it down, and I didn't want to go completely energy on him because he has the Tentacruel in the back. I didn't want the Blaziken matched up with the Tentacruel, but he easily could have swapped it in. It looks like our opponent just disconnected from the game, sadly. And at this point, we're going to just launch whatever fire move, Blaze Kick, into his Tentacruel, and I doubt he's going to shield. I think he just dropped his phone at this point. So sadly, we get our second win off of basically an opponent disconnecting. In that round, it could have been a very close one if he brought in his Tentacruel against our Blaziken, but at least we had energy lead, and that was going to be huge for us, especially when we have Deoxys defense in the back to go up against his Bastiodon, which is a pretty favorable matchup with Thunderbolt. So here we're going into the 5th game, and it's taking a little bit of time to connect, but we're going to be leading Drifblim, which is one of the more hyped Pokemon going into Season 3 of Go Battle League. It has the Icy Wind, the strongest charge move in the game, and Hex has been buffed to give you a little bit more energy. You only need 4 Hexes to get to the Icy Wind, an amazing lead. He has no answer. He switches to his Azumarill, and we have a counter swap in Melmetal. We do not have the Thunderbolt, but Rock Slide will get the job done with Thundershock, again generating a ton of energy. This team's ability is threaten shields with charge moves. A lot of charge moves on this team deal heavy damage. So we're going to have to shield this. It's probably an Ice Beam bait, but I did not want to have it go down to a potential Hydro Pump. We're going to go ahead and just threaten that shield or take the KO and switch advantage. At this point, I wanted to do the Superpower, but accidentally hit the Rock Slide. No big deal. Both were going to be resisted, but Superpower is a little bit stronger. Ice Punch predictably coming in, but we're a tanky Drifblim. He brings in an even worse Pokemon to fight Drifblim, the double weak Altaria. And here is where Donphan gets to shine. He's very tanky, he can take one of these Sky Attacks, and his charge moves are extremely surprising type-wise, where people might not believe you have Play Rough. At this point, he had to shield in order to keep his Altaria alive. No way his Medicham was going to be able to finish off a shielded Drifblim. So here we're going to Hex down the Altaria, and then Icy Wind the Medicham that switches in to lower its power because those Ice Punches will hurt. Let's see if we survive the Ice Punch, and it just enough to knock us out. We were going to be going for that Shadow Ball if given the opportunity. So we lose 2-3. Good luck, guys.